All right, let's now get into business news. The Kenyans are likely to pay more for imported goods as the shilling continues to weaken against the dollar. The main impact is, however, expected to be felt in the energy sector, impacting on the cost of fuel, which will in turn affect the cost of electricity and transport. KTN's Noakip Kemboi with more.
On the 2nd of December 2016, the shilling exchanged at an average of 101 shillings and 85 cents to the dollar. And now, 4 years down the line, the value of the shilling has reduced against the dollar, standing at an average of 110 shillings and 9 cents.
We've seen hospitality going down by 39%. We've seen cut flowers going down by about 19%, coffee down 13%. And all these are sectors that bring in foreign exchange to the country. And that has really meant the shilling has weakened. On the global side, we saw a lot of uncertainty that came from the US elections. The coronavirus pandemic still continued to ravage many parts of the world.
Stanley Mwangi, who imports cars for resale, is feeling the pinch of a weaker shilling.
Most of the suppliers all over the world, they appreciate the dollar. And they always insist that when we are sending money, we have to send in dollars. Irrespective of that, they have their other currencies. I was going to the bank expecting that dollar is around 110, 112, would not have been bad for me. But I was told there is no dollar. The dollar reserves are less and then have to cover 118, something I had not planned for. And could have not communicated back to my clients. It was a shocker. So I had to go for Japanese yen. It was a little bit fairer. Then in the process, I saved like 150,000.
This reveals a disparity where banks are selling at a higher rate than the central bank.
You have the central bank that is really trying to contain the slide of the shilling, because a lot of our debt is denominated in dollars. So if you have a quick slide, then even our debt becomes very expensive. But you have the commercial banks that operate for commercial incentives and really have to be able to trade to make a profit. And that's why I think those two forces that are normally quite aligned now are playing out separately.
The weaker shilling will have an impact on Kenyans' pockets.
I think the most common areas would be around the cost of energy, because we'd have what is called imported inflation. If you look at your electricity power bill, there's always a foreign exchange component in terms of pricing it. So if they're using 113, 114, then obviously you'll pay a much higher electric bill.
All is not lost, however, with the remittances showing improvement and exports of such as tea, cut flowers and other horticultural goods set to generate an inflow of dollars at a higher exchange rate.
And the Fed in the US is planning on launching another quantitative easing, which is printing of more dollars. So we should see the dollar weakening a bit because of that activity.
The Treasury is now considering switching to other denominations for loans that will help mitigate the shilling's vulnerability. Noakip Kemboi, KTN News.
Now, public transport players are gearing up for the December festive season, with Kenyans readying themselves to travel ahead of the holidays. A spot check by KTN Business at the Standard Gauge Railway Nairobi terminus shows an upsurge in domestic travel. So far, SGR management notes